Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm so excited to be here. It's truly awesome. Like all the energy, all the builders. I think like ETH Denver's been one of my favorite conferences I've ever been to. Today we're going to be announcing a huge product. It's the new focus for the Tribe DAO, and we really think it's going to be huge for DeFi. So what I want everyone to do right now is text your friends and tell them to get in here. I want to see all the seats filled if possible. So just text everyone you're with, get them in the room. Yeah. How's everyone feeling? Give me some energy. How's ETH Denver been for you all? Yeah, I love it. I love it. So let me tell you a little bit about the Tribe DAO. If you haven't heard of us, it's been kind of a wild year. We launched in April, and we had one of the biggest DeFi launches in history. And there were a lot of challenges and adversity that we were able to build through. And it's kind of a testament to putting your head down, finding product market fit. And so the original launch was the Phase stablecoin. And the whole vision for Phase is to have a decentralized stablecoin to provide liquidity all throughout DeFi and build kind of an infrastructure around it. And then as we built up and got all this together, we had partnered closely with the Rari Capital team and ended up merging in December. It was the biggest DAO merge in history. And this journey of building a DAO and finding your tribe is something that has been just like the greatest ride of my life. And what we're focused on is being able to let anyone in this room have that same experience. If you have an idea, you want to build a DAO, we want to get it together and have it as easy as possible, as little developer experience as possible. And so the content of this talk is going to be talking about DeFi, talking about where we are, talking about the tribe and the services that we have today. And then at the end, we're going to have this big announcement of how we're going to tie it all together. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into it, and I hope you guys like it. So yeah, next slide. So what we've learned is that DAOs are the future of human coordination. It's so much better to run a DAO than to have like your standard C Corp. Tokens allow communities to come together. There's this social element. Like-minded contributors working towards a single goal. And that is very powerful. But on top of that, you have this technical layer of the blockchain and smart contracts. So that gives you this trustless environment where you can't be taken advantage of because all of the rules are in the code. And lastly, there's a financial component. So now the value that you create is coming back to your community. This is such an exciting way to coordinate, and it's so much better than anything we've ever had in human history. So again, what are DAOs great for? Social, technical, and financial coordination all together in one platform. And this is the most powerful way to organize. And at the Tribe DAO, we focus a ton on bringing products to DAOs to help them amplify their reach, their integrations, and their utility for their users. The other thing that we've learned is that the most important thing in DeFi is liquidity. Liquidity is the ability for any of your users to do what they want with their tokens. You want to be able to swap your tokens. You want to be able to get in and out of different communities. You want to be able to lend and borrow against your tokens. Maybe you want more tokens. You want to earn interest. Maybe you want to go buy a car, but you don't want to sell your tokens. So in that case, you want to be able to borrow against them. There's all these different opportunities, and liquidity is hard to build up. It's the most important resource in DeFi. And liquidity is what gets you the integrations that you need, and liquidity is something that it takes a lot of expertise to really build up. And it's something that the Tribe DAO has all these different products that we're going to get into to build up liquidity for your DAOs. And at the end, like I mentioned, we're going to announce a product that's going to bring it all together. So yeah, like liquidity, it's a big thing, and keep that in mind throughout the rest of the presentation. So the Tribe DAO, we have so many things going on that there's people on the team who don't even know all the things going on. So this is just a list of some of the different features that can provide liquidity and utility to your community through the Tribe DAO. So the first is Fuse. This is a completely permissionless lending platform that was built by Rari Capital. Oh, hey, okay, thank you. Yeah, wow. Oh, this is so much better. Can you guys hear me better? I guess I never figured out how to hold a microphone. Okay, so like I mentioned, Fuse, the lending market, is anyone can create their own platform that's risk isolated to borrow and lend whatever tokens you want. And there are thousands and thousands of tokens in DeFi. So if you have kind of a monolithic lending market, you can't support all of these different tokens. And every day, every week, there's dozens of new DAOs that are coming in. And they all want to have this utility for their users. So Fuse is the platform to do this, and it's purely infrastructure. And it's one of the most exciting Legos that I've ever built with. And we have some really exciting stuff coming down the pipeline for Fuse. And so Fuse is the infrastructure, and like you can see, there's two different types of products that the Tribe DAO has. There's these infrastructure products like Fuse, and then there's liquidity injection products like Turbo and Liquidity as a Service. So when you put these together, you get the complete package. And so yeah, that's Fuse, and we're doing a bunch of exciting stuff with Fuse. There's plugins, being able to lend out unborrowed reserves back into other deployment strategies, just getting more returns, more utility for your community. So what is liquidity as a service? Like I mentioned, liquidity is the most important resource in DeFi. So liquidity as a service is essentially a way to amplify the swapping liquidity that you have for your token. And the way that this works is that using Ondo, which is a platform to kind of carve out the risk, the Tribe DAO will provide stablecoins, Fei, to match your token from your DAO to create this liquidity pool. So it's kind of an immediate injection of liquidity that your users can take advantage of. It's a really powerful service, and it's one that kind of, like I said, there's the liquidity side, and liquidity as a service is definitely on the liquidity side. Now, Turbo is one of the most exciting products that we're going to be launching next month. And we have an entire slide on this, so I'll get into the dirty details there in a second. In Rari Capital Vaults, as I mentioned, Fuse is this huge platform. There's hundreds of different lending pools, all with different interest rates. So Vaults is a way for you to just set it and forget it. It's a yield aggregator. So you put your tokens in, and Vaults will just take care of everything for you. It'll rebalance. It'll give you, a really good risk-adjusted interest rate. And that's another really exciting product that's coming out next month. And lastly, Flywheel is a token incentives layer on top of everything. And we just launched Flywheel V2, which we have another slide on. And I'm really excited to get into the details. Let me see how we're looking on time, but we can go to the next slide. So Turbo. Everyone's like, what's Turbo? I have no idea. So Turbo is a completely new mechanism in DeFi, where when you think about a stablecoin in a traditional sense, you usually have a DAO that's issuing that stablecoin or a company like Coinbase. So USDC is the most liquid stablecoin in DeFi, and that's issued by a company, right? You give them $1, they give you $1. And that's cool, but that's not really in the ethos of DeFi, where we want everything to be on-chain and everything to be permissionless. So you have these other stablecoins like MakerDAO. In MakerDAO, to issue DAI, you have to be a borrower. So MakerDAO is the issuer, and you're the borrower. And what that means is that there's this cost to getting the stablecoins into circulation, and it's limited on where you can put them. When someone issues DAI, they can go do whatever they want with it, but you are a borrower, and you have to pay that interest rate. So Turbo is a completely new mechanism that changes the relationship between users in an ecosystem and the stablecoin issuer. With Turbo, you and your project actually get to become the issuers. You can issue Fei at zero cost. There's no upfront cost. There's no interest rate. And then you can deploy it back into either a yield-generating strategy or a location where you want your users to have liquidity, or both. So it's really one of the most powerful transformations in thinking about stablecoins and providing them throughout the ecosystem. So as you can see here, users deposit collateral, and then you boost Fei into circulation into a strategy. And so now you're the issuer, and you can, at zero cost, go earn interest on your tokens. So now tokens that weren't productive now have this stablecoin denominated interest coming in. And even cooler than that, if you're a DAO, you can provide that liquidity to a market that is for your users. So it's just a service for your users to be able to borrow against. And then there's a revenue split with the Tribe DAO. So let me give you an example about how Turbo works to really make it hit. So one of our closest partners as the Tribe DAO is the Balancer DAO. And they are an AMM. They have all these different ways to create swapping liquidity for your tokens. And their LP tokens are kind of, if you can think about it as, they're like exotic tokens, where you're kind of combining different tokens into an LP position. And there's not a lot that you can do with Balancer LP tokens in DeFi at the moment. So imagine the Balancer DAO makes a fuse pool, and they let you provide any LP token that you want as collateral. Now, you can keep earning the same liquidity mining rewards from the Balancer DAO, but you can also borrow against those tokens. So now, if you need cash, you can borrow Fei. And if you need, if you want to like even lever up your exposure to that position, you can get access to that Fei through Turbo. And the Balancer DAO at zero cost is boosting that Fei and issuing that Fei on behalf of their community and in partnership with the Tribe DAO. So it's a really, really powerful mechanism. And like I said, we're going to be doing a guarded launch for Turbo in March, and then expanding the use cases as it scales up. I think it's going to be a really powerful mechanism, and one that I hope that other teams replicate in DeFi, because I think this is like an evolution on the way to issue stablecoins into circulation. So yeah, Turbo was written by Transmissions11, who is now, he's an incredible developer, prolific, legendary figure in DeFi. He's now at Paradigm as a research engineer, and he's going to be continuing to push the space forward. So yeah, this is kind of the last product we got to build with him, and can't wait to see it live. Flywheel. So in my opinion, Flywheel is one of the most underrated features of Fuse, Rari, the Tribe. Tokens are everything. And everyone loves liquidity mining, right? Like, you go get some LP tokens, you go get some tokens, and you throw them in some staking pool, and now you get more tokens. It's like, that's what we're all here for. And so this is fine, right? Like, it's a little bit expensive, and once the tokens are in this yield farm, there's often nothing else you can do with them until Flywheel V2. So the normal kind of flywheel that you see is the one in the middle. So you get your incentives, and that drives more TVL. So now you have more assets. That drives more volume to your platform, which drives more revenue. This is your classic flywheel. The best example of this is Convex and Curve. So how many people here have heard of the Curve Wars? Curve Wars. Yeah. Curve is emitting their tokens, and then they're getting liquidity, and the tokens can direct more liquidity. So that means that the more Curve you have, the more Curve you can get. And that's a very incredible mechanism, and it's one that with Flywheel V2, you can actually replicate on top of a fuse pool. So now, not only are you able to have this same flywheel, but in addition, users can lend and borrow in a market with those incentives on top. So to give you a concrete example, we're actually working on this right now. The first pool that we're going to launch using Flywheel V2 is a Convex pool that plugs into the existing Convex incentives. So that means like you can take your LP tokens from Convex, put them into a fuse pool, get the exact same rewards. Nothing changes. But you get an additional option, and it's a great one, which is that you can borrow Fei against that position. So now it's even better than what you had before, and we can do this with any incentive program in DeFi. And if you're running a DAO and you're issuing token incentives, I strongly encourage you to get on Flywheel And we're going to be porting some of the best projects' incentives over to Fuse to give this extra utility and incentives to their users. So that's Flywheel v2, and we're going to have some really exciting, it's a modular architecture, so we can even upgrade the way that the incentives are distributed and calculated, all completely permissionlessly on top of Fuse or on top of any strategy that you want. So that's Flywheel v2, and yeah, just another one of the insane stacked set of products that the TribeDAO has. And yeah, I mean, we got more coming. Like Volt, I don't know if any of you guys got to meet Kirk. Who here likes inflation? Anyone? So yeah, I didn't see too many hands go up. So what Volt is Volt is a stablecoin that is protected against inflation. So if you hold Volt, you aren't losing any money to the inflation of the US dollar. It's pegged to the CPI. And this is powered by Chainlink, and it's in partnership with Frax to have kind of this ecosystem built around an inflation-protected stablecoin. So if you haven't had a chance to talk to Kirk, I think he had like a coffee hour this morning, but that's a project I'm extremely excited about. And as you can see, we have all these offerings in the TribeDAO. And the vision is to verticalize the entire DeFi stack. So if you come to the TribeDAO, you'll have an option for anything you want. As you can see, like fixed income, token indexes, options, derivatives. I mean, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever opportunity you want to have for your community, we want to have that inside the TribeDAO. And we're going to work with the best teams in DeFi to help remove the cognitive overhead of deciding, oh, which platform do I have to use for X? Which platform do I have to use for Y? You don't need to think about any of that. You just come to the TribeDAO and you get it all taken care of for you. And this is where we're going this year. And so as you can see, it's kind of overwhelming. You have all these different options. Right now, they're all kind of isolated components. But where they're going is we're going to put them all together. And this is the product that I'm so excited to announce to you all right now. TribeLaunch. Oh, it's a black screen. All right, presentation's over. Yeah, so something happened with the laptop. What's going on? Yeah, I know. They couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. Literally, the screen shut down. The energy's through the roof. So yeah, while they get that, oh, okay, there it is. So, and it's back down. All right. What is TribeLaunch? TribeLaunch is a way for you to enter the Tribe ecosystem completely permissionlessly in a single click. And you get premier access to all of these services, some of which require governance, like I mentioned earlier. Liquidity is a scarce and powerful resource, and it's the most important resource in DeFi. So if you want to get access to that liquidity, there's all these prerequisites. Your token implementation needs to be secure. You have to have existing demand and legitimacy around the product that you're building. And then you have to go through governance. And we talk to so many projects every week, and it's really hard to really get to everyone in kind of this manual way. So the vision for TribeLaunch is to completely remove the barriers to this, make it totally permissionless, and kind of get you in the Tribe ecosystem from day one without a single developer on the team. If you have an idea for a DAO, start thinking now. Start getting excited because TribeLaunch is going to be there for you very soon. Yeah, I guess we're not getting the slide, but that's OK. We don't need it. So the big innovation in TribeLaunch that makes this all possible is the token factory. So like I mentioned earlier, it's really hard to make these permissionless services that work with every single token because tokens can be malicious. If anyone can implement a token, you can put code in there that totally breaks something. It could be even sneaky where it doesn't break it right away, but it breaks it in the future. And this is just something that's really hard to do technical due diligence for and hard to build around. So the way that we're going to solve this is by having a custom token factory so that the TribeDAO knows in the code that you have an ERC20 that's compatible with everything that we're doing, and that's safe. So it's not only is it good for your access to Tribe products, but it's also good for your users. When you use TribeLaunch, your users know that it's battle-tested code that it gives them the security as well to really feel comfortable being a part of your community. So after the token factory, now you're in, right? How do you get access to the rest of the system? Well, that's where the liquidity bootstrapping comes in. So the best part about TribeLaunch is it's kind of like an iOS for your DAO, where if you want to do something, you can have access to all the existing best offerings in DeFi, and if something new comes out, it can be added into TribeLaunch for all future tokens, and you can upgrade your infrastructure all throughout the single platform. So it's kind of like an integrated experience. And so the liquidity bootstrapping, you can imagine, for example, we talked about Balancer earlier. So one option is a Balancer liquidity bootstrapping pool, where you start out with mostly your tokens and a little bit of Fei or ETH or Tribe, and then you kind of auction out your tokens to get more protocol-owned liquidity. And this liquidity serves as the baseline for your access to all the other Tribe products. And so one of the cool things about TribeLaunch is that normally you need a little bit of startup capital to be able to like create a Balancer liquidity bootstrapping pool. But if you use TribeLaunch, because of the way that the launch is engineered, you actually don't need any capital at all. You come in and you say, these are the terms I want to do my launch at, and the Tribe DAO will just provide you the other side of that pair to get you going. So it's Fei, ETH, Tribe, whatever you want to raise in. You don't even need to talk to a single VC. It's like we're automating VC out here. Absolutely, absolutely crazy. And you should still talk to VCs if you want to, but yeah, I mean, it might not really click just yet, but I think this is going to really transform the way that teams launch. TribeLaunch gives you, like I said, whatever the terms you want, access to all the Tribe products. It all starts with the token factory, the liquidity bootstrapping, and then boom, permissionless access to Tribe products. So what does that look like in practice? Turbo is a very, very powerful way to get that stablecoin liquidity to your users. And if you use TribeLaunch, we know that there's this Fei demand that you created as part of your launch to offset the Turbo, and then we can make your DAO a joint issuer of Fei with the Tribe. Not only that, you can use Flywheel to get your token incentives and your bootstrapping going on top of Turbo. And then your Fuse pool becomes a home for your users to stake their assets and you know, get capital efficiency, borrow Fei, whatever you need. So TribeLaunch is really, I think, like the beachhead for the Tribe. It's like we're building this integrated experience, and we're going to plug everything back in. So it's your one-stop shop. If you have an idea for a DAO, you can build it, you can launch it. You don't need a single developer. So this is going to launch in May, and this summer, 2022, is DAO summer, and it's going to be powered by TribeLaunch. So yeah, this is the Tribe DAO, and get excited because we're going to keep building and we're going to keep expanding. So if you want to be a part of the Tribe DAO, you should definitely follow Fei Protocol or Rari Capital on Twitter, join our Discords, and if you want to talk to me, I'm Joey _ Santoro. I know I couldn't get a better Twitter handle, but yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. DM me. We want to hear from you. If you have an idea, we want you to use TribeLaunch. We want you to use Tribe products because this is the way that you get into DeFi, and you can take care of all of the hard stuff. All the tokenomics is done for you, and you can focus on building and building your community. So thanks again, everyone. Really, really excited about everything to come. So excited about ETH Denver, and yeah, let's keep on building. I might be a little early, so I don't know if we can take questions. Probably not, but what are you thinking? Awesome, yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Here, I'll bring this mic down, and then Omar, do you want to pass the mic around for people who have questions? Or you just pass it to people?
So you need to atomically redeploy your turbo tokens, right, for your yield strategies on Fuse. Why is that?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
You have to like atomically redeploy your vault for yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so for Turbo, the trick is that you have to atomically take the Fey and put it back into a yield strategy. The reason why this is so important is that it's a zero cost loan. So if we're going to issue Fey, it has to go back into a strategy that's approved. And you can add some automation around this process, but Turbo is basically the way to get Fey into the strategies that you need and do it in a completely costless way. So you can't just go sell the Fey, you have to go put it somewhere that's revenue producing so that the Tribe DAO can offset the cost of this zero cost issuance for Fey. Is that, how is that? Does that answer the question? Yeah, great question. That mic is not on. All right, pass it around,
So Tribe recently went through a sort of major merger, largest in DeFi. Are there any sort of major lessons learned you've taken from that process?
All right, let's see, is this working? Yes, awesome. So the merger was one of the most incredible experiences of DeFi governance I think I've ever seen, because you have two really big, really decentralized communities with very different value propositions. I mean, Fey is a stable coin, it's like, has a ton of assets. Fuse is like this innovation hub, and like, they have the yield aggregators, totally different communities coming together. And I think it was really kind of an exercise in creating a shared vision. And that's what we're talking about here with the TribeLaunch, is that like you put the whole stack together, you get something really magical. So it's taking things that are different and kind of complementary and putting them together. And it was really just like convincing the community that this was a bet that was worth making. And I think so far it's been really incredible. Like we're shipping Turbo, Flywheel V2, Liquidity as a service, like all these things. They're kind of networking the tribe together. So yeah, it wasn't like the easiest thing in the world, kind of getting all these different communities together, but I think it was totally worth it and a really good experience.
Yo.
What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, Joey, I'm like your biggest fan, I know that Transmissions and you have been working on ERC 4626. Can you elaborate a bit more to the folks here?
Yes, so I forgot to mention this in the talk, but we're actually pushing a new ERC that's kind of, if you think about the ERC20, what is that? It's a tokenization of value, right? It's like you're part of a community, you have this token. And then you think about what can you do with that token? You can put it in Compound, Aave, Fuse, you can put it in AMM. There's all these different ways to deploy a token, but they all have completely different interfaces. So none of them are interoperable. And it's actually really difficult for aggregators and integrators in DeFi to go between these strategies. So ERC 4626 is a standard interface to be able to go in and out of a single token deposit. So what this does is it lets you go, like the vision in my head is like, you should be able to have your tokens in some crazy yield farm over here, and then you want to go to a different token on a different chain in a different yield farm over there, and you should be able to do that all in one click, and you shouldn't have to write any new code to do that. And today, if you want to do that, you have to create custom adapters, it wastes developer resources, it's risky. But if everyone uses the same standard, now all of your deployment strategies for your tokens are completely standardized, and you can have out-of-the-box ways to get in and out of these strategies. And the cool part is that we're building our whole stack around this 4626 standard. Turbo strategies have to be 4626 compliant. Fuse, you can plug unborrowed reserves back into 4626. And we're going to have some really exciting developments for Fuse V2 around the 4626 standard. So really, it's like one layer above the token to create like a network layer across DeFi and interoperability across DeFi. And so yeah, definitely give the standard a read. It's currently in review. We expect it to go to last call pretty soon, and then once it's final, it's just about adoption. So it comes down to everyone in this room helping us like create more use cases and getting it kind of used throughout the ecosystem.
This is going to be our last one.
All right, last question.
Hey, so I'm kind of curious about the TribeLaunch and the potential for a plug-and-play governance framework for DAOs.
Yes.
So my question is that going to be a trustless governance framework from the start, or where token holders have direct control over the treasury?
Absolutely. So the governance is even the coolest part of TribeLaunch. I should have put it on the slide, but not only do you get access to all these financial primitives in DeFi, but we'll also have out-of-the-box opportunities for governance. We're creating a ton of innovation in Tribe governance because it's such a huge platform. So we're working with Orca protocol. We're working with like negative consent governance and like different like layers. So we're going to have like kind of plug and play. And it's up to your use case. So some use cases need a little bit more centralized governance, but we're going to have all the options, and then you can get to see in a transparent UI what the governance framework is for whatever project you're interacting with.
Thank you.
I think that's everything, but again, thanks so much, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Yeah, DAO Summer, you get a DAO, you get a DAO. Everyone gets a DAO.